Hello, everyone. We just wanted to comment hi when you join. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. And please, you can share the link to as many people you know that still want to join, want to be part of this. Share the link to them. Many people are asking for the link, but we already have the link on the WhatsApp group. And also send out email for everyone that register and they're supposed to have access to this. So you can as well keep sharing the link. Thank you. Okay. Let's keep allowing some more people to come in. And like I said on the WhatsApp group, um, we'll be providing a link for you to be part of this conversation when it's time for us to bring people in to, add in their voice, bring in your own experience and your understanding to the subject of today. And again, I hope you have your Kahoots. I want us to have fun, just a little fun today, just to test our knowledge. So if you have Kahoot already on your mobile phone, no problem. You don't need to download again. Just wait for the pin. And if you don't have, you can download it. The issue is it's not going to take everybody. So the fastest finger, if you are able to quickly log in, yeah. And there's going to be a gift for the winner. Some people may be joining the WhatsApp group later, so you can share the link with them as well. We will appreciate if you can subscribe to our channel. You will have access to all our videos, and each time we bring new resources online, you will also be notified when you click on the notification bell. So we appreciate if you can subscribe. For some of us, this is our first time. We started this journey last week, and we are going to continue. But however, I can quickly do a recap of last week, then before we continue from where we stopped last week. Okay. Last week, we started this journey, business analysis made easy. We define what is business analysis, who is a business analyst, and also uncover some underlying competencies. Those are the required skills of a business analyst. Then we dive into needs assessments, gap analysis, and stakeholder management. We define business analysis according to Babok version 3 as the practice of enabling change in an enterprise by defining needs and recommending solutions that deliver value to stakeholders. It's pointed out there that business analysts, we are change agents, and we help organizations, business, to move from status quo to desired end. And we help them to understand their needs and recommend solution that is going to deliver value to their stakeholders, that is going to meet the needs of the business as well as the stakeholders. A business analyst, like I said, we wear a lot of different caps, depend on the industry or the projects you are working on. But most of the time, people call us the middleman between the business and the technical team, or some call us change agents, some call us the strategists of an organization. Yeah, we wear all this cap because we help organization to understand their needs and their goal. We analyze it, also analyze the solution, and we come up with different strategies. Then we drive change, and also we bring everybody on board to be on the same page. Those people we call stakeholders. And we can have any of this title, but what important mostly is that what you are doing, the tasks, your responsibility in a team, define if you are actually performing business analysis. We'll look at the underlying competencies, which we broke down into these six: the analytical thinking and problem solving, behavioral characteristics, business knowledge, communication skill, interaction skills, tools, and technology. As a BA, one thing you must know is that you will continue to learn. Learning is something that you must have as a BA. It must be part of you because technology is revolving and evolving. So you too must keep on moving on and working alongside. Then we look at needs assessment. There was a question on the WhatsApp during the week last week, which I love that questions and I like the conversation we had over there. Somebody had that is need assessment same as gap analysis, because when you talk about needs assessment, talk of like analyzing the current business problem or opportunity. Then we use it now to understand what is actually the capability of this organization, then determine what is going to be the solution. And if you remember very well, I talk about it, need could either be a problem or an opportunity. A problem is something that already is affecting us. We are not meeting our goals. We couldn't achieve our set goals and objectives. So we need to quickly look for solutions. So the approach is kind of a tactical, it's a reactive. But opportunity, we're doing fine, but we can do better. We can leverage on the current our current strengths, but something that can make us to be ahead in the game. That is opportunity. What can actually deliver value. So why understanding this, it helps us to define where we want to go, where the business want to go. But gap analysis is that gap between now and then. That's what is going to take us there. That is gap analysis. Needs assessments to understand it. But gap, what will take us to that place to fulfill this need? We want to understand, analyze that gap to fill in the gap that will take us from the current state to the future state. So I'll talk about stakeholders' needs, business needs. I've talked about identifying problem or opportunity and gap analysis, understanding comparing the current state and the desired future. So what we need to fill in the gap, that is gap analysis. And we look at stakeholder management, understanding who are your stakeholders. We have internal and external stakeholder, and how do you identify your stakeholders? Use different techniques to identify your stakeholder organizational charts. You use a brainstorming, you can use a document analysis, you can also use the interview, even job shadowing as well. Then you analyze your stakeholder to understand the level of their power, the level of their interest. Some people call it influence instead of power. And again, you want to analyze them based on their responsibility, who is going to be accountable, who is to be consulted or informed. Then you plan how you engage them, how you are going to be bringing these people to be part of the project, because it's not everybody that's going to be on the same team with you. Some of your stakeholders might be from another team, but you need to plan how to engage them. And the last one is you actually engage them. So last week, that was what we covered. We shared the video link with everyone that register. And also I also share this slide as well with everyone that register. This last part of it is just talking about what will help you if you are planning to become a business analyst. Okay, let's go to today class. Like I said, please subscribe, click the like button, and you can keep on sharing this to other people that may want to join. So today we want to look at requirement engineering. Requirements is very, 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 very important to us as a business analyst. And a lot of people believe that that is one of the most important thing we're going to do. That's not the only thing we do, but it is very key to us, because we're going to be talking with different stakeholders, trying to help them to understand their need, define it, and also help them to have a proper understanding before we even talk about suggesting solution. So we'll be diving into requirements engineering. And like I said earlier, at a time we're going to be sharing a link that will allow you, if you want to be part of this conversation, will bring you on board and you can talk. Now you can, if you have a question, you can drop it in the chat box. Somebody is there that is monitoring it, and it will help us. We attend to every question as we go on, and when it's time to allow us to talk, we also do that. Okay, quickly before we jump into it, let's play a game. So if you have your Kahoot with you, I am going to share the Kahoot. So I'm going to share the key, the pin, and everyone will be able to play. But like I said, this will only take 40 people. Fastest fingers be the one to be online. I'm sharing the pin on the chats 955 5703. 955 5703. So, nice one. We have some people are joining already. That's good. Okay, the first 40 people here. We have 36, we have 37, 39, and now it's 40. Okay, so fastest finger. One thing with Kahoot is this. Wow, it's still taking 42. Okay, keep coming. I thought it's going to take only 40. Surprise. One thing with Kahoot is you may know the answer, but if you are not fast, yeah, you still get your points, but the fastest person got the highest points. Okay, okay. It says I've reached the maximum, which is 50. Give me up to 50. Okay, let's start Kahoot. You will see the question on your app as well. You can see it on the screen. But if whichever that you know it's comfortable for you, you should just make use of it. And you click on the correct answer. Let's start Kahoot. Just for fun. The full meaning of IBA. Wow, 28 people got it. Those that missed it, it might be out of anxiety and you just missed the spelling. So 28 people got it right. Awesome. So let's see who is the fastest. We have B leading, actually, B and Femo, they have the same point, and followed by Erin Tubbs, followed by Hingozi and Chu. Yeah, other people got it, but like I said, the fastest finger. But no problem. Let's go to the next question. Which of the following is not a collaboration tool? We have different tools we use to collaborate as in a project team. A lot of them, but one of these is not actually for collaboration. So which one? Okay. PowerPoint, we use it for presentation. You do your design, your presentation, and you bring it. Trello, we use Trello to manage projects, and you can bring a lot of people on board. You can collaborate on Trello. Same thing goes with Slack and also with Miro. Some people call it Miro or Miro. It's they are all collaboration, but PowerPoint is for presentation. Okay, Anytobes took on the lead and now we have a Chu, T, Femo, and Awesome. Okay, let's go to the third question. A predictive approach to project management is also known as DASH. Predictive approach to project management is what? I know we didn't mention this last week, but if you are familiar with projects, you should know this. You will work in a project, and definitely, yeah, you will be using different approaches. And one of them is called predictive. It's also known as waterfall. Waterfall is the traditional way of doing projects, whereby you take a lot of time to complete each phase of the project, and before you move to the next phase. The second one and most popular one is agile, or we call it adaptive or plan change driven. Okay, let's see those that got it right. Wow, Tammy took over, followed by Femo, followed by Chu. Henry Tubbs has been on the leaderboard, and T. That's a good one. Okay, let's go to the next question. The following are members of a Scrum team, except one person. Sorry. Have you heard of Scrum before? Scrum is an agile framework. We have different framework under agile, and Scrum is one of them. And under in the Scrum guide, let me say theoretically speaking, you don't have a BA in a Scrum team if you go through the Scrum guide, but in real life, you have a BA working in that team. And some BA, you might be called a product owner, why you can just be your own BA and working to help assisting the product owner. Nice one. 16 people got it right. Femo, Eritos, Norax just coming up, E and Timmy. Okay, let's go to the next question. True or false? The full meaning of BABOK is business analysis book of knowledge. Yeah, I can see some people are dropping the answer in the charts. Yeah, sorry, somebody was asking what is Kahoot. Okay, I dropped it on the WhatsApp. Maybe you didn't join or you didn't read it. Sorry about that. Okay, it is body of knowledge, not book of knowledge. It is called body of knowledge, not book of knowledge. Okay, thank you. That was trickish. Nice one, Femo. Next one. Who manages a project? The business analyst, the project manager, the subject matter expert, the quality assurance analyst. Who manages a project? Yeah, sorry, somebody was kicked out. Sorry about that. Project manager manages the project, correct? Yeah, almost everybody got it right. Femo has refused to leave that lead. Okay, question 7. Stakeholder management. One of these is not part of it. Uh, you identify, you analyze, you plan, and you engage them. Femos, these two people refuse to leave that place. Come on, guys. You can challenge them. Let's go to question 8. True or false? Needs assessment is the same as gap analysis. It's not the same. It's not the same. Oh my goodness. Nice one. Let's go to question number 9. A business analyst should possess the following skills except one. It's very important for BA to possess these skills except one of them. The communication skill is very important. The analytical and problem solving skill is very key. You must learn technologies and tools. If you don't have physical stamina, but you are mentally stable, you can still be a BA. Nice one. Thanks. Femo is leading, and let's see if Femo can take it. Between Erin Tobes and Femo, it is very close. So let's see the last question. Very simple one. One of the following is not a project: organizing a wedding reception, data migration, renovating a kitchen, sleeping on a waterbed. If you don't read all the options and you quickly pick one, you may miss it. Organizing a wedding reception is a project because you need to plan. You need to consider your resources. You have time frame. Sleeping on waterbed is not a project. You just want to sleep. Okay, let's see. The third on the podium. Norax. Hooray. Eritos. And now drum rollings. Femo. So who is Femo? Can you identify yourself in the chat box? Nice one, nice one. Femo. Let's know Femo, please. Okay. All right. Okay. Now that is just for fun. But now we're going to today's business. And please, like I said, we will be allowing people to come in. Okay. It's Femi or Jelabi. Please take notes so that we reach out to Femi to get his gifts. Okay. Excuse me. Sorry, I have a cold, though my voice is getting better now. Okay. I'll be sharing my screen. Okay. So welcome to day 2 in this our business analysis made easy. And I want us to know one thing with business analysis, that it is not a kind of like, oh, this is a must, how you must take it. Every of your tasks in business analysis, when you are carrying out your role as a BA, it depends on the project, the domain, the environment where you are working. Because, and also even a team, because we see many teams, they've adopted this way. Some other team, they want it this way. Some companies, they want it this way as well. So we're looking at requirements engineering, just put everything together, and I just like, okay, let's call it requirements engineering. So today we define what is a requirement, the types of requirements, requirement elicitation, analysis, requirement analysis, requirement prioritization, verification and validation, traceability, and we're going to have a kind of highlight of a requirement documentation. Next week, we're going to be going into requirement documentation because we have a different type of documentation. So we have most of us, this picture might not be new to us. This is something that we use, we must have been seeing in the past, talking about how we communicate, requirements and how other people perceive it. So you will see the customer from the first picture there, the customer communicated it this way, while the project leader understood it in a different way. The engineer designed something totally different. The programmer that will write the programming language wrote something different entirely. The sales executive, by the time they are going to be describing it, because they want to make money, we have to sell these products. They give it a different picture. Then in the documentation, it's like virtually nothing there. Then the people that will install it, what they install was far from customers' expectation. What customer explained. Then by the time the customer will get the deal, it's like building London Bridge. Then the supports, help desk supports, how they could support is very little. And even the customer itself, what they're actually looking for is totally even different from what they explain. And all of this, it is when the way we communicate and perceive requirements. At times, if you don't explain or give out the right information, other people will also perceive it wrongly. I love to use this example When you go to, let's say, eatery, or even you go to a restaurant or bar, by the time you tell them, you make your order after they show you the menu, or you go through the menu and you tell them what you want to buy, you will see that the bartender will always read it back to you. Not as if they didn't understand what you were saying in the first place, but they want to be sure to verify what you actually said, just for you to agree with them. And the same thing goes with us as a BA. Like I said, a BA, that inquisitive nature in you must come alive. Many BA, let me say most BAs that I'm privileged to mentor and that I've come across with, by the time they are starting on this career, a lot of them will go with this fear. And I used to tell them something: ask question. If you are not clear, don't assume. Ask question. If you don't ask question, you will be getting, or you will be documenting wrong information. And once you document wrong requirements, definitely your solution will have a problem, because the developers will just develop based on your documents. So as a BA, ask question. Don't be afraid. Ask question. And you see, the way business analysis work, which is very, very sweet, is this. When you carry out requirement elicitation, you will first of all document it. Or no, sorry, you analyze it. When you analyze it, you are going to bring it back to verify, to be sure that yes, you capture everything and you get a sign off. Now, that is not just even enough, because it is good that you also model your requirements. If you are working in an agile environment, wireframe or mockups is a very, very, very strong way. Very strong tool apart from the process map and process modeling. When you come up with that mockups or wireframe, if you have the skill or you have a UI UX designer in your team, they could help you to come up with one. And by the time you are sharing this with your stakeholders, you will be able to understand if you have actually captured the stakeholders' expectation. So you will not be working like what we have in this diagram. Okay, quickly, by definition, what is a requirement? According to Babok, version 3, it says it's a usable representation of a need. Remember needs assessment, right? Usable representation of a need. So it's focused on understanding what kind of value could be delivered if a requirement is fulfilled. So there is a need. Now we want to understand this. So it's a usable representation of that need, what we're able to provide, how we can meet this need. Another definition I put there is a condition or capability that must be met or possessed by a solution or solution component to satisfy a contract, a standard, a specification, or other formally imposed documents. So requirement basically is you are asking the business, the stakeholder, also getting even information from the solution, understanding the system, what will make all these things work together to deliver a solution that will deliver value to customers, to stakeholders. Now we have different types of requirements, a lot of different ones you can find out there, but I go in line with Babok. We have business requirements, we have stakeholders requirements, we have a solution requirements, and we have transition requirements. The business stakeholder requirements, basically the statement of goals, objective, and outcome that describe why a change has been initiated. That is from the business, what the business wants. So it's kind of high-level requirements, high-level information. It's not going to be to details. It's going to be high-level information. Why stakeholder requirements? It describes the needs of the stakeholder that must be met in order to achieve the business requirements. You know, each stakeholders, they have a role to play in that solution or that solution you're about to deliver. So how would they interact with this? How this is going to affect them or impact them, or how they or affect their roles and their responsibility. So that is a stakeholder specific to stakeholders. And we have different stakeholders. However, whatever stakeholder requirements that you are getting, you must know that it must be in line with the business goal. A stakeholder cannot make its own requirements out of what the business is focusing on. Solution requirements. So these describe the capabilities and quality of a solution that meets the stakeholder requirements. So it provides appropriate level of details that will help the implementation of that solution. Now, solution requirement is subdivided into two. We have the functional and non-functional requirements. And a lot of people get confused with these two, but it's not something to be confused about. It's something that you need to understand. And get to understand is that projects is totally different from projects. So that's why if you use a particular approach for one particular project, that doesn't mean that you use the same approach for another project. So functional requirements, it describes the capabilities that a solution must have in terms of behavior, rules, operation, and information that the solution will manage. I outlined some in this outline here, this slide about functional requirements. Number one, I say what function or functionality that the solution will support, what specific stakeholder will do or experience while being part of using this solution, what information or data will be managed, under what circumstances do the behavior and responses happen or not in order to ensure the required results and outcomes. But non-functional requirements do not relate directly to the behavior or functionality of the solution, but rather it describes the condition under which the solution must be effective and the quality that the solution must have. Talking about the usability, the reliability, the performance, speed, security, the design, accessibility, the documentation, the information capacity, the information architecture, and any other thing. This non-functional requirements does not mean that what that means that it doesn't mean that without them that the solution will not work, but it's a kind of what make that solution be effective and the quality that solution must have. For example, now talking about security, now that's the level of protection you want to give the data in that particular solution. If there is no security, that does not mean that solution will not work. It's just that may actually render it, useless, because people will not buy into it when there is no security. They know that their information is not secure, it's not protected. But it doesn't mean that, for example, it's a website. That doesn't mean the website will not work. It will work, but just that the security. Talking about even performance, it may not be that fast to respond to command, but that doesn't mean it won't work. I remember, I think, was it when Nigeria first introduced an online registration for JAMB? Was it JAMB or NEC or something like that? That the website shut down because they did not even create that capacity. The number of users at a time was not factored into when they were developing that solution. It was working when 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people were using it, but maybe when they have up to 50,000 users, then it became very slow. You see many websites like that. Definitely, they didn't consider some of these non-functional requirements. Then we have the transition requirements. So this is talking about what the solution must have and the condition that it must meet after, you have moved from the current to this future state. Those are the things you need to support that that will just make everything work smoothly, to make that transition moving into this new solution work smoothly. Some of them talk about training, awareness, describing how people need to do it, especially when you have those help desk and all of that. Even at times, it may even be how you prepare the environment. Those are transition requirements. Now, let's go to requirement elicitation. Last week we were talking, and I appreciate people that really contributed to that. We're talking about requirements gathering and requirements elicitation. Yes, it is very, very, very key and very, very important as a PA to understand this. This may look more of like a theory. Yeah, it's good in the sense that it will help you, especially when you are going for interview, to have understanding. This background knowledge of all of these things. So requirement elicitation is the activities of drawing out information from stakeholder and other sources. You want to get the right information. It's not just to take only what they are saying, not just only to take everything they bring out, but the right one, the correct one, the most useful information, either from stakeholder or from other sources. Like we talk about document analysis, these are part of the areas where you get information. You get it from documents and so in business analysis, it involves eliciting information about the cause of problem or the reason why we want to address the current opportunity. So businesses will not just ask you, we want to do this. You want to know why that thing is a problem. For example, now, there is let's say an insurance company, and you are hired working as a BA, or probably you work with a consulting firm and your organization needs to help them to develop solution. Now, they will tell you their problem. Probably their problem is that our customers or clients, whatever they call them, we are losing customers because they complain that it takes long for us to process their claims. Now, look at that. Most businesses now will tell you that we believe that if we digitalize the process, if they are not using it before, they want to tell you like, oh, we would like a kind of solution that will help us to manage this and be able to resolve this issue on time. As a BA, you don't just jump into whatever they say. Like, we want to have a website or we want to have an application whereby our customers can submit their claim online, and we're able to process it and they get their claims. Don't just jump into it. That is an high level information. But that time, you as a BA need to get down to understand why that thing is a problem. What is even the cause? We call something root cause analysis. And under root cause analysis, there is this techniques we call 5 whys. 5 as in number 5 and YWHY. I think it started from a Toyota, and now it's something that everyone were using to identify root cause. So the 5 whys simply say that you ask why, like in 5 times, and you will be able to understand what is the actual problem is, so that you will not be solving symptoms why the main problem is there, or wasting time solving symptom, then you still go back again to solve the problem. So BA will ask specific questions, the right questions, to understand what is actually the problem. And when you are asking, you are documenting. I put on a picture here, which I found online, and it's very funny. A BA, the challenges you have when you are carrying out requirement elicitation. You want to know what you can do for them. And the customer is telling you that I want you to design a software for you. The BA say, what do you want to do with the software? Say, I don't know until you tell me what the software can do. Then he said, okay, I can design the software to do anything. And the customer said, can you design the software to tell you my requirements? Oh my goodness. When I don't even know your requirements, how can I develop the solution for you? That will be difficult. Okay. When you are going for requirement elicitation, please, I beg your pardon. Let me quickly sip water. You need to develop a plan for your requirement elicitation. You don't just jump into it. You need to have a plan. What information to elicit? At times, you may even need to draft some kind of a high-level question that can bring out that type of information you need. And from there, you develop more questions. Where to find that information? How do you want to get the information? And you want to sequence the activities you want to do. I put a kind of example here. What information, what is the source, and the method you want to use. Talking about the method, talking about techniques, as we call it in business analysis. Then you want to put them in sequence. Which one should come first and which one should be the next and the last. So this is very important for you as a PA to prepare yourself. If you are hired, it depends on the organization that hired you. You may join, even you might be working already and you may be called to join another project. So, and it depends on the phase they had that particular project. It has happened to me working on a project and I was asked to join another project. So starting with one project, but now I'm joining in between of another project. I need to plan myself. As a BA, you need to plan. If not, you will not be organized. A lot of people do ask me, can you work in more than one project at a time as a BA? Yes. I've seen some of my friends the other time we met were saying they're working in 5 projects at a time. I was like, wow, that must be. And truly, that is how it is, especially if you're a consultant. You will always be asked to, like, how many percentage of your time can you use in different projects? Especially when you have concluded the planning, the elicitation and analysis phase, you don't really need much time in those than just to be giving them support. So plan yourself and understand what you want to do. The next thing, you prepare for it. I also put a kind of a template for this. This is not like something that is a must. It's just to help you. That is what I'm trying to share with us today. It's just to help us. So you want to prepare a kind of note. What is the objective of these? Who are the people that will be involved, the participants, or what, as we call them, your stakeholders? Who are your stakeholders? Then you want to highlight some questions. And like I always say, question do beget questions. Because by the time you ask question and you get a feedback, you want to ask more questions. So it is important you prepare your elicitation notes. Then you conduct it. Now, one important thing, if you are using interview, workshop, focus group techniques to elicit your requirements, I do advise people, either you are working remotely or you are working in the office, when you are inviting your stakeholders, don't let them cut them unaware. Don't make it a surprise to them. When you draft that invitation email, please attach the question, possible questions you want to ask them, because some of them might even need to provide you with some kind of data, some kind of other information. So let them have it ahead of time. And you draft it, make it very simple for them when you send it to them. And you are well organized for them. They know that this is what we're coming for. And you have the agenda, like I put it here, the introduction, the body, the close, and how you're going to follow up. You have that one arrange for yourself. And in the meeting, you already put the agenda there. So every one of them know what they're coming for. You don't want to waste people time. Remember, your stakeholders, some of them might not be part of your project team. So you don't want to waste their time. If it is 1 hour, it is 1 hour. And you send it ahead of time, they prepare and you come for the meeting. So elicit, don't just gather. Elicit, don't just gather. So to be a successful business analyst, you must go beyond just gathering up whatever information stakeholder present to you. Elicit requirements instead. So identify the type of question you want to ask. That is very, very key. You ask question. Now, let's bring it now to a kind of a real life scenario. Most of the time when you are hired or you are called to be part of a project, either the project manager or the project sponsor, as the case may be, excuse me, as the case may be, we give you project brief. And at that project brief, it's going to be a kind of high level information of what you are going to be doing. Probably they may tell you the current situation. From my experience, I've seen it. Most of the projects I've worked on, you see, they already know what they want to do, although they have a kind of a picture of what they want to do. Not that they understand it deep down, because that is why we are there to help them. So when they give us that kind of high-level information, if you are new to the business, I'm telling you, everything will look like what is going on here. And you don't need to feel like that. That is why they are there to support you, to give you that backup. But you must not go to your shell and now be cracking your brain like, oh, how will I go about this thing? No, ask question. Some people, when you ask them question, they give you access to their documents and you take your time to analyze it so that you're able to know. And while you are going through that, you should be able to understand the questions that you are going to ask them. I'm telling you, all this thing that I'm saying now, many companies, they are using it now as part of their interviews. The kind of interview now that I am seeing, hey, it's something else. So, like companies now give you scenario and they want you to interview them, ask them question as a BA, a part of interview. So you must prepare yourself. It just goes beyond the general scenario-based question. No. Now they will give you a kind of note. They want you to come with process map. They want you to come and interview them, or they want you to look at it and tell them about the scope, the needs, and probably how do you want to elicit requirements. So it's good for us to understand all of these things. So learn how to develop your question. From whatever information they give to you, start with that question. Why? Why is this thing a problem? Why is this thing not meeting your needs or goals? You need to ask the question, what? The why question, the how, the where, the when, the who. Because identifying who again will also help you. Because some of these you may have better understanding when you do kind of a job shadowing also. So what makes good requirements? Your requirements must be complete, correct, unambiguous, verifiable, necessary, feasible, prioritized, testable, attainable, concise, and understandable. Just talking about what required must be. It must be something that will be simple and other person can understand it when they read it. Concise, complete, correct. So requirements, when you are getting your requirements and you are documenting it, do it in such a way that others will see it and they will understand it properly. Okay. Now, before I go to requirement elicitation techniques, I want to pause here and see if we have a question. Is there any question there? Just going through. If you have any question, please just drop it there. But if we don't have anyone, we may continue. And like I said, we'll get to a point that I'm going to send out the link for people that may want to add one or two things. And we allow you to also be part of this conversation. We're bringing you online live, and you'll be part of what we're discussing. Okay, there is no question. Let's continue. Okay, somebody say, what's shadowing something? I mean, job shadowing is are there tools to guide the entire process and track the progress? Okay, nice one. Yeah, please keep dropping the questions, and we are going to be attending to them as we proceed on. Okay, so I'll be checking the chat as we're going and continue uh, tending to this. Document analysis, talking about techniques. So document analysis, you look through existing document to figure out the question to ask stakeholders in case maybe you need to get more information. Again, I used to warn people about document analysis. Some of these, it may be very bulky. Some may be very, very outdated because it's not everybody that do update their documents. But thanks to Agile now, kind of Agile is helping because the documentation in Agile is not that huge. So, but again, when you are using these techniques, you have to be careful. Observation, you are watching business users how they perform their tasks to get a first-hand insight into their operation. Interviews, this is basically, excuse me, please, asking questions from the people you are interviewing, and that will help you to get understand their needs, and that becomes your requirements. Survey, you can use survey, and when you're using survey, maybe you have a lot of stakeholders out there, especially talking about maybe you want to reach out to customer, large number of customers. We use survey, and this help us to get information. For survey or questionnaire, we have a open-ended and closed-ended, and some we call it open and closed-ended. Open-ended mean that you ask the question and you just put blank box there, and they can type in whatever they want to type. But closed-ended, you already provide options where they can pick from. Like some of the questions we do see talking about extremely satisfied, satisfied, indifferent, not satisfied, or, the way they put it like that, that is a close-ended. And open close-ended may comprise of like a 9 close-ended questions. That is the ones with options. Then the last one may be like any other comments. So they give your stakeholders opportunity to also type something apart from the questions you provided. So that is a survey. Requirements workshop. Sometimes some people call it facilitated work session. Some call it a joint application development session. So we use this one when you bring the project team member and trying to come up with to develop high quality requirements. You have different stakeholders, the team members are also there, and you have that discussion, asking question, getting clarification, and we later come up with high quality requirements. Brainstorming, yeah, when you bring your team member together and you come to, let me call it a think out of the box to generate ideas, and you fine tune all of these ideas, and thereby coming up with your requirements and possibly uh, a kind of proposed solutions and all of that will come up from that kind of session. Focus group, this one you pull together a random chosen groups of people that meet a particular demographic to discuss. Like maybe I can use like want to develop a kind of e-commerce solution, and now you are looking at your customers. They will be of different age group, different geographical location, and all of that. So you can just put people within that age bracket Within that, people living from the north, the south, the west, the east, and bring them together. And you use in that meeting, you get their requirements. Interface analysis, that is, you examine the current examine documentation and discuss the technical stakeholder, the interface among system. How does their current system looks like? You want to understand how it looks like, what's it, how does it operate, the flow, and understand the hardware to understand the impact of that, and that will help you like when you are coming up with a new solution. I've done something like that. We were developing a solution, and they needed a kind of report, but they do have existing reports with a kind of interface already. So understanding the current interface they have and see if it is something that we can improve on with the new system, or we still go by with the same thing they have. And that goes for any kind of system that you can do. Prototyping, yeah, this method is ideal when you are working on a computer-based solution. And I love prototyping very, very well. So many tools now, it's really helping. Prototyping is just like a model of the screen of that solution. Today, we have a lot of software that we even make the prototyping look like the real work, because you can click and it will take you from one page to another page, from one screen to another screen, that look exactly like what we are actually developing, the solution we're developing. Okay, now let's stop sharing and go into our question. Okay, 1 minute, please. Okay, now Christiana asks, what is shadowing something? Basically, it's called a job shadowing, so that you sit with somebody and you are looking the way they are performing the work, the way they are doing, they're carrying out the process. And you can be active or passive. Active mean maybe you are working on the same process, but looking at that person how they are doing it. And passive, you are just up watching the person, observing the person. Are there tools to guide the entire process and track the progress? Now there are so many software that we have now, that different one, but I can tell you 99, don't let me say 99, let me say like 80% of a Canadian employer, they still use Excel. They use Excel. They love Excel. They have a kind of format that they develop, and this thing works a lot. And there is what we call requirement traceability matrix. It also helps us when you have it. But let me say there is a kind of Excel template that I use with different tab, and it goes from the first stage to the next stage to the next stage, even to the last when I begin to write my user stories. And before I will now transfer my user story to Jira. So we have tools there. There is this, I've forgotten the name of this tool, but basically I'm using Excel, and some places they use Jira to manage this, to manage their requirements as well before they even go into the projects management. And I think Trello can also do the same thing. You just upload everything on Trello and you are moving it as you are advancing. So, but we still give time for people to also contribute to that as well. Oh, can you please shed more light on functional and non-functional requirements? Yes, sorry. Talking about functional requirements, these are the requirements that actually make this the solution to work. Let me put it that way. It's the things that you need, that that make it a functional, making that solution performing the essence why it's created. For example, now you have we want to develop a banking application. Let me use that as an example now. Maybe mobile or is it web application we want to develop. This solution, number one, for it to be functional, you must be able to log in. Or let's say let's start from that. You create your account. You are an existing customer. Now you create accounts. Now we have so many that you might not even be an existing customer, but you can create accounts from your mobile application. So that create account is functional. Login is functional. Able to check your balance is functional. When you're able to even do transaction, like you send money, you transfer funds, or you are making purchase from your mobile app, banking app, to another, whatever vendor you have there. All those things are functional. They are functional requirements. It makes it work. Without those things there, that application is not functioning. I'm trying to use a very simple illustration. Why the non-functional, like I said, you talk about speed. When you click on your mobile app and it takes, or maybe you log into the website, it takes 1 minute before it even opens to the landing page. Something is wrong with that type of app. It should be within 1-2 seconds. So while they are developing requirements, you talk about that speed. So at a click, it will come up. Non-functional, it doesn't mean that it will not work, but it is not performing to the maximum. What will give that benefits, that satisfaction, maximum satisfaction to customer. I can't imagine myself going on a website and it will take me one minute for that website to open. Or when I click on another page, it will take another 1 minute. So all of these things have to be defined when you are eliciting requirements. Same thing goes with security. How secure do you want it? How do you want to protect a customer's information? Every data you have on these are non-functional. It doesn't mean it will not work. It will work, but it's not working maximally. So that is different between functional and non-functional. Using that on as example. Let's dive to the next one. When eliciting requirement from a VP, how easy is it to get to the VP, to get the VP to a meeting? Now, it depends. I know we have a different VP. It is, I don't know the kind of organization you work, but many organizations, they have different VP. And if it is a kind of a government organization, some of them may be part of the steering committee for that project from the beginning. And if they are part of it, this VP must have been identified as one of your stakeholders. You will see some of them may actually, like, okay, maybe they delegate a director. If they are the subject matter experts, they might be available and they might not be available. But one thing is that you communicate with them. And from that top hierarchy, there is going to be someone that is going to be the sponsor for that project. So if you cannot get that person to a meeting, you can use that sponsor to get to it. So even if the person will not want to come directly, yeah, you can get your information through that. They are of the same cadre. I'm working on a project now that the sponsor is a vice president, and truly I've never even seen any of other vice VP that attended our meeting, but they have what they call the executive leadership meeting team, ELT, and they do have a meeting. So anything we want to pass to them, we have it there. But notwithstanding that, the departments that this VP are heading, they don't have delegates that are part of the project if we need them, if they are part of our stakeholders. So you use through your leader, your manager, or whosoever that you are reporting to. If you need them, you can use them, or you go through the project manager or the project sponsor if need be. And if it's a very good workplace where you have a very wonderful workplace culture, yeah, the VP will be there. The VP will be there. When I was working in the office, I work side by side with our VP in the office. No, there is nothing special about it. We work, we use the same uh, where we eat. What do we even call it? Lunchroom. We use the same lunchroom. We use the same washroom. So if you need him in a meeting, it's very easy for us to bring him in the meeting. So, but I know some places it might not be like that. Okay, somebody is asking that shadowing. Please, will the slide be shared later? Sure, I will share it. Requirement elicitation is first before requirement documentation. Very correct. Very correct. Document analysis is a form of requirement elicitation. Yes, you use it as a technique because there might be an existing documentation already in for the process or a project that they've worked before. You know, in a project, there is what we call lesson learned after you finish the project. So you have lesson learned and you document it. What we did well, what we need to improve on, you know, well, what other things can we do better or can we add? We document it for a current project that we are rounding up from. Then you can now, you keep that document. If it's in an agile environment and you are using Jira and what do we call it? Confluence. Yeah, you can have it there and you can have access to it when you want to work on a similar project, and that give you insight. So that is document analysis, going through an existing document. But that is not you documenting your elicitation, your requirement elicitation now. Okay. I believe some of these mentioned techniques can be used in stakeholder and identification. Very well, very correct. Yeah, you identify stakeholder as well when you use document analysis. If in a workshop, you can identify stakeholder. You can as well identify stakeholder even by brainstorming. Very correct. Thank you, Ken Francis. How can we effectively gather and analyze data to identify key business issues and opportunity? This now depends on the project you are working on. And also you need to able, first of all, create this, how can I call it? It's a kind of a bond and a very good relationship with your stakeholders because you get most of your data from your stakeholder. So when you gather your data, whichever means directly existing documents or wherever they have the data, this, first of all, will happen within your team. How do you guys want to work? Business analysis or working in a project is not a one-man show. You work with team. You work with team, and if where you are working, maybe they did not have a lot of people working there or not too many people in the project, yeah, that may be something that you may need to figure out. But I can tell you, you will always have people that you are going to be working with. So identifying issues, it's based on the needs at hand. I've never worked in a place where we don't know, the business don't tell us what is expected from us. They may not get into it, but now we get into that particular issue and discover it. So at times, I want to use a very good one example now of one of the projects I worked on. It is not a kind of a software development. It's a kind of a cyber security issue. And this is something that was going on in the industry, but it doesn't affect that particular, my own clients. But we need to be proactive about this. And we develop a survey. There is this, what do we call this? Red Cap. Yeah. We use this, send it out to all the employees just to get to understand how much awareness they have about a cyber attack. And based on that data that we collated, we identified that, oh, a lot of people don't even know that they are at risk. And we propose a cybersecurity training for all the employees. While working on that, we even discovered there are some of them, they don't even have access to the company's system. They don't have email address. They don't have, they are not using any hardware. So and from the beginning, we put everybody in scope for that project. But we're not achieving our goal because the number of people completing it was not much. So we still have to again analyze that and get the number of people that are not doing that so that we take them to out of scope and focus on people that have access and propose that whosoever that will be coming, because everybody's responsibility in the organizations are different. A cleaner, that doesn't have email address and all of that, how do you even want to even ask the person to take the training? So we're able to remove them and focus on the business need, how we train their employees on cybersecurity and they guide themselves against a cyber attack. So it all depends on the project and again the environment as the company, the business where you work, how you are able to interact with them and have access to the information and necessary data. So it all depends on that. But one thing I will tell you as a BA, you must have that interaction skill. And your project manager should be your number one friend, your body and the team. I used to say that my project manager, I always make friends with my project manager so that we work together, we share a lot of things before we even bring it to the team, except if I have a more additional BA in the team. But if I don't have, my project manager is always the one I move with. Okay, quick one. Yeah, somebody talking about functional and non-functional. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Sorry, somebody asked which software one should give priority to in terms of mastery. You should when it comes to mastery, I won't say which one you should give priority to, but grow from Excel. Again, this depends on where you are working. Myself, I learn I can use Power BI, I can use Tableau, I can use Excel, but I can tell you in the last 1 year, I've not touched Power BI and I've not touched Tableau. I've been working with Excel. That's why I said, and I've seen it, a lot of people working in Canada here, you see a lot were using Excel. It has been Excel. So if where you are working, they use more of Excel, please go for it. Then you can now leverage on all of this. You discover that most of these other tools, when you are even downloading data, you still do what? Export them to Excel. Or maybe you want to even you import from Excel. Excel does a lot. And I don't know why Canadian employers love Excel. It's actually a very, very wonderful tool. So if you know their work, they use Excel, please master Excel. Then that Excel skill will even help you to even leverage on other one. We see some places, it's even SQL, Excel and SQL. So it all depends. But let me tell you, in case you are new, this is not a must for you. But if your team, they are using this tool, please learn it. But Excel will always be something that I will recommend you must know. Know how to use Excel, know how to use it to clean data, know how to, you remove a duplicate, you do a VLOOKUP. Now we have XLOOKUP, pivot table, if all those little formulas, use Excel. VLOOKUP is very, very handy, and a pivot table. And now you can use Excel to also develop charts. because you may need to even come up with a chart, a kind of a small dashboard on your Excel, because the management team, they don't want to be going into a lot of data you have there. But when they see a chart, they will know, oh, okay, this department or this area is doing well, this area is not doing well. So if you want, yeah, good. But I will still say that whatever you are using, what they are using in your organization will still matter most. So somebody said it's good to master all if you can. Yeah, it gives you more ability. Yes, yes, which is very, very important. Okay. How do we gather requirement through elicitation? When you, this question is funny. You gather when you bring everything together. You elicit when you are trying to fine tune it to get the actual one. To know that this is okay, the area. We don't just want to bring everything, all the information, but we want to be able to get the main one that we need, that will go for that solution. Can elicitation be done with a predictive approach? Meaning you would elicit all possible requirements before going to the next phase, or is it always adaptive because it needs to be repeatedly confirmed? No, you can use it for both. You can use it for both, actually, because what makes it, and again, I can say my own experience, I think I've only worked in only one project where I can say the approach is 100% adaptive. Every project I've worked on has been hybrid. Hybrid. I'm telling you, we start with this analysis stuff. You work on that requirements, moving to analysis, model it, document it, model it, before we now move completely to agile. Then we now continue like that. That is why you will see some business requirement document, it will be so huge. Or some places they will not even call it BRD, they just take that part of functional. But that functional requirement, you see use case diagram for every step. And it will now become very easier for you now to develop your user story from there. I've worked in such projects. So it can be used for both approach or the hybrid in between. Why I call that one hybrid is because you've taken your time to do a lot of that requirement elicitation and analysis phase before you now move to agile. Then you now continue with that agile, working on your sprint, because you've used that first phase to develop your backlog, and it takes some time to actually do that. But where they are working on 100%, what is it called? Agile, they don't really take that much time. Unfortunately for me, I only work on one project like that. Okay. Start from Microsoft tools, learn collaborative tools. Yeah. What is an elicitation requirement? That is, you are getting information you need for your project to deliver solution. Let me use that word. Getting information you need to deliver solution. How to make sure that the implemented solution is meeting the needs of the stakeholder and is providing a positive return of investment, ROI. That is how, this is when you are completing the whole phase. Because there is something we call validation, requirement validation, to make sure that that solution actually meeting the needs, delivering value to stakeholders. So we will get there. Let me quickly dive into the we'll get to traceability metrics shortly. Let me dive into that. Then I will be allowing some people that want to also shed more light on what we're talking on. I'll bring them on board. Quick one. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much for. Okay, so I stopped at requirement. Okay, one minute, please. Okay, sorry. I need to, you know, my throat is dry. So now talking about requirements analysis. Requirement analysis is a process of examining, breaking down, and synthesizing information to further understand, complete, and improve them. You know, we get requirements from different sources, different stakeholders, and again, probably from some other documents or some other sources. Now, when you are bringing them together, you don't just want to put everything together and document them. We need to break them down, synthesize them, and make sure that they are complete. And like I think I said something earlier, there are some requirements that when you see it, this one could be symptom to another one, because the other one might actually be a problem that we need to solve. And when we solve the problem, there is no need for us to worry about the symptom. I use, for example, I like talking about security. One stakeholder said that please make sure that this solution should have a kind of should be well protected, that my data is secured. Another one will say that, oh, I want you to create a kind of security on the password, that it must be minimum of 8 character, lowercase, uppercase, alphanumeric, special character. Another will say, let it be two-factor authentication, that after they put the password, the solution should still request for their registered email or phone number, then send a one-time password before they were able to get access into it. Now, maybe you elicit this requirement at different stage, or you get it from different resources. When you are bringing it together, you now look at it. Are we now going to be writing them? Oh, this person, the solution must protect users' data. The solution must have this type of password. The solution must have a two-factor authentication. If you look at this and you analyze them, you will see they are all pointing at the same thing. So you can bring these three together and make it one. So number one, you want to talk about the password requirements, minimum of 8 character, this and this and that. Then you will now add that two-factor into it. So what am I trying to say? Talking about analyzing your requirements. So when you have all this information from here and there, you want to work together with your team, analyze it, and you simplify it. So a business analyst work with different type of information. You choose the correct information to analyze and separate out those things that interfere with a proper analysis. You can use visual models. It helps to establish a boundary on exactly what needs to be analyzed and help to facilitate discussions with stakeholders and subject matter experts to determine the key pieces of information. Okay, so we'll decompose this information to further examine them. Anything that must change to meet the business need, anything that should stay the same. What are the missing components? What are the unnecessary ones? Any constraint, assumption that may impact the components. Looking at all of those things. Now, quickly, we move to requirement prioritization. Though there are different techniques we have now today to prioritize our requirements. And the basis for prioritizing it, like you are ranking it, because something must come before the other. We have a lot of requirements, but it's not as if they are going to be working on everything at the same time. One must come before the other. And this is very, very key in Agile, because Agile wants to deliver value quickly, MVP, minimum viable product. So you have to prioritize it. Which one will meet the needs of stakeholder? So look at the benefits, penalty, the cost, the risk, the dependencies, the time sensitivity, the stability, regulatory or compliance. That must be something you keep at heart when we are talking about requirements. Okay, now we use different techniques, like I said, a lot of techniques, but this is one of the very popular one. And Moscow, it's an acronym. It's not the Moscow city of Russia, meaning must have the requirements that must be delivered. They should have. They are also critical to the success of the solution. They could have. They are not that too critical, and would have. You will work in another team that they may use it as a high, medium, and low. Some may even put it as number one, two, three, four. It all depends. But what is the logic behind this is like we want to put up those ones that are very, very critical, that they are must. If we don't have it, there won't be, the solution will not be creating value. So what are the must have? You must identify it from whatever solution you are developing. I used to use this analogy jokingly, like you want to cook a soup and you don't have pots. Where will you put the ingredients? So your number one priority, the pot is very important. Then the next ingredient, like that. So likewise, you want to develop a website, a web solution. You will definitely have the home page, or we call it the landing page. That is when they enter the URL and put it in a browser. That's first page. So it's a must, because it is there you have other ones like a login, the register, and other functionalities that you may have, other features that solution may carry. So that is the same approach you will look at when you have your requirements. You can itemize your requirements. Maybe you have 1 to 20, 1 to 50. Yes, you also get this because when you are having your conversation with your stakeholders, maybe during the workshop or during interview, you should be able to know which one will deliver value to them first. Again, we do have this conflict with stakeholders because this department or stakeholder might want this to go first, while the other one might also want theirs to go first. But now you have to look at the business. Which one is creating value for the business first? Which one is going to meet the business goal? So that requirement will be the one to prioritize over the other. And in Agile, yeah, the product owner, it helps to prioritize this, taking them from backlog, from product backlog, prioritize them, and the Scrum team bringing that into their current sprint when they are planning for their sprint and start working on it. Okay, you verify your requirements. I use the analogy of a bartender where they want to make sure that whatever you ask for is what they are giving you. And that is the same thing when you are verifying your requirements. After you have elicited and you write it down, before you put them in your proper documentation, you want to be sure that you capture the exact thing that the stakeholder is talking about. You don't want to assume and or we are coming up with what you perceive. You want it to be the real thing, the real thing. So you verify it. And the other one is validation. So that one, it's like when you are sure that this requirement will actually solve problem. In part of the knowledge area, according to Babok, we call it solution analysis. When you want to analyze the solution, we have delivered the solution, but now you want to check if it actually is solving the problem. I use a claim as insurance claim before as an example. Yes, if they want to create an app to help them managing their claim, after you have done your analysis and get your requirements and done everything and they've delivered the solution, now we want to see that truly can this application, is it delivering value? Can it solve, is it solving the problem of this time wasting on processing claim for customers? So that is when we are validating. And like I said, again, some businesses will come up with a kind of a solution to you, but that solution might not actually be what they need. At times, you may just need to train them. Maybe what they need is to train them. Maybe what they need is also to hire more people, because maybe the existing solution is actually working fine. It all depends. So it's not a one way or that this is how it must be done. So talking about validation as well, I'm trying to run a little bit because of time. Trace requirements. This one, it helps us to identify how the lineage of that requirement, how the flow to manage it. I put a kind of template here. It might not be too clear. How we put it there, it will start, we used to give an ID to requirements. We'll be talking about a documentation next week, whereby you can be touching some of these things. So you put an identification number to your requirement. So you put the requirement there, the business need, and this is not like we have a standard kind of a template. No. Any documentation in this for project, there is nothing like this is a must. Every company, every organization, every team, they modify it to what works well for them. So you may see different one online, you may see different one where you are working, but it's definitely based on what works well for your team. But one good thing is that you must be there is, your deliverables, the test case, the requirements, so that as they are working on it, if anything happens, especially during testing, you're able to trace that back to the requirement to even be sure, because at times tester may be testing out of scope. So you want to be sure they are doing the right thing, which is expected of them. And that is the same thing. That goes for requirement traceability. So we have these metrics that help us to link that life cycle, that's a project, the product, that particular feature life cycle, from how it goes from here to there to there. You want to understand it, and because you don't want to miss out on any of this. So you have different things that could be added to all of this column, just to make sure that you are on track and you see that requirement is actually moving well. They don't miss out of it, and it doesn't get lost along the line. So it's all about requirements traceability matrix. So many organizations use tools, and now there are so many software they also use as well for this. Then this is just some of the documents. Next week, by God's grace, we'll be touching on this, and probably we'll be working on this. Yeah, you can you share a sample RTM in Excel or Google? Sure, I can share that. If you receive the email, I put a link to a Google Drive there on that email, but I will be sending it again so that any resources that I have, we can put it there. I know some people they were not really maximizing that email. I put a lot of links on that. You can click them and you will have access to some of these resources. So I'll be sharing that as well. So after you have gone through all these things, you now put them in proper documentation. Like I said, there is no this is the way the document must look like. It depends based on the team you are working or your organization. Some organization, they already have their template. Some we want you to come up with your own template, and it is good for you. But the most important thing is capture the most relevant things you need that will make your work look professional. Some places, when you work on business requirement document, it will be so detailed that everything you need for functional, non-functional, use case, everything is there already. And some, you just even pick out the functional requirement part of it. Software requirement specification, some people call it system requirements of specification. If you are a system analyst or a technical person, you'll be working more on that, and you might be doing a lot of use cases there. Then we have a use case, both use case and the use case diagram. We touch on it tomorrow, next week by God's grace. User stories, very popular. If you are working in Agile, you will definitely learn that. As a user, I want to, so that I can do this. And you go by acceptance criteria. Business case, I talked a bit about business case the other time. We'll also be touching on it. It's a document that you use to back up your suggested solution for business needs. So next week we'll be looking into that. And now I will be allowing people that want to add to what we have. If you have questions, drop your question, but I will be bringing people on board so that if you have a contribution to what I know, we have a lot of BAs in the house, and I appreciate those of you that reach out to me. I know some people are willing to mentor people and some people are looking for people to mentor them. That is very, very, very impressive. So we like your contribution, we like your input as well. So can you please make this link available while I go through where we stop in our question? How long does a project take to complete? Depends on the projects. Let me say the project sponsor. Some project they will tell you it will run for 6 months, and I'm telling you, project manager. This is one area that you see project manager they don't joke with, because in project management they are very, very, very key with the time, the timeline, the cost, and the resources, because these three works together. If you want us to finish it on time, then you should know you are going to have more resources on grant. And when you have that lot of resources, then it means you are going to be spending more. So it will cost more. So some maybe, I've worked on a 2 weeks project, though it's a very short something, but we work Monday to Sunday and work overtime all through because they want to get it out. It was during COVID, and you know, everything during COVID was fast. So, and some projects, I've worked on a project that we're getting into another phase in 2023. We started 2021 November, and here we are still working on it because it's like kind of a continuous project. So it all depends on them, and depends on the approach you are using. Can you shed more light on it? Okay, I've talked about that. Okay. How do you guide against intellectual patent ideas in the course of requirements elicitation and documentation? Oh, awesome. Yeah. Basically, when you look at this, let me say there is this competition among in the companies, especially when in the same industry, and everybody want to act smart and act fast. But if any organization have a patent right on anything, yeah, sure. The other one, you have to be careful. You know, we have there are some tools, some software tools now that you can actually use, which will even tell you when you are already, you know, going contrary to what you suppose, like infringing on somebody's patent rights, or you getting into another person property that have a legal right on it. But even if you don't have that, you have a legal team which will also be working with you probably, because if you remember, part of the things you consider in your requirements is regulation, as well as what we call business rules. So if you are working in an organization, you just also want to check on all of that. So Part of your stakeholder will be maybe your legal team. My current client, part of our stakeholder is their communication team. And we have a communication specialist even in the project team, but yet we don't send anything out without passing it through that department. That department must, first of all, probe and proofread. Not that maybe they are looking for grammatical error, but they are, I think they say kind of there is a way they use words, so which we have to be careful of. I remember one of them was talking about people, the way we get the requirement then, like during COVID, like people that doesn't want to be vaccinated. But when we send it to communication, they said, no, you can't use it that way. That we said people that seek accommodation. I was like, wow, for me, it's like people that doesn't want to take it. But to them, that sounds rude. But they say people that want accommodation. So based on their faith or based on medical reports. So different team, different company, they also have the way they manage all of these things. Okay. There seems to be a lot of correlation between BA and project manager. We work together. Yeah, we work together. BA, project manager, product owner as well. So we work together. Can you share a sample of this? Yes. Please, admin, do we have that link ready so that we can allow people to come on board? You can drop the link on the chat so that people can come up. I didn't receive I didn't receive email from you as I registered late. Don't worry, we're going to be sending it again and again. I'm unable to view the screen again. Letters are too tiny. Oh, sorry about that. So BRD is different from business case. Yes, it is different from business case. BRD, it's that comprises of the whole document. Yeah. So we have the link there. If you are interested in coming on board to share something, please click on that link. I will see you here and I'm going to add you to the stream. So if you want to, you have something you want to share with us, please come up. Oh, so next question. Part of your analysis during consulting, is there like a kind of answering that question? Okay. Somebody, how do you deal with non-responsive and close-minded stakeholders during requirement gathering? You will escalate it because it all depends. You know, I've seen a place where let me say the end user, internal end user of a solution, they are being very, very non-responsive because, you know, when you are introducing a change or coming up with new initiative, people are afraid, kind of, right? So that is why you see many organizations come up with what we call change management. So before coming on that, this is something that happened in Canada. Before the organization, they want to like introducing agile, and this, you know, agile is a kind, is actually mindset. Yeah. Okay. Agile is a mindset, and people don't really understand it. We're talking about that time, talking about lean, yeah, lean processing, and they are introducing not just only the framework, even they are changing the way they put up the workplace. Have to change the way people see it. This one that people have a kind of permanent seat, like this is my workstation. The organization want to change from that. Like you just know, whatever you put you have your laptop and monitor is standing for everybody, just sit. But before they will get into that, they have to come with that approach, that change management. In a pro side, they call it ADCA. So I think it's good if it's a kind of a organization-wide new initiative. They should come first of all with that awareness, follow the change management process, so that people will be ready to receive it. But if it is a kind of individual, you may want to have create that rapport with them. Maybe you go to lunch with them, or kind of having coffee chat with them, and starting from something even outside of work. Then from there you begin to tell them how that solution is going to be of benefit to them. Yeah. Oh, I saw somebody. I brought somebody in now, but the person is out. It's going to be of benefit. Yeah. We have Ken Francis. Ken Francis, I brought somebody welcome God. Is out. We have some background noise there. Francis, I brought somebody God.
So,
I'm
hello everyone.
that Ken Francis.
So, hello everyone.
Hello, we can hear you, but there is this background noise. Can you mute the device that is talking at the back? Hear you, but there is this background noise. Okay, you can talk now, Ken Francis.
Hi everyone. So I'm the one that asked that question concerning non-responsive stakeholders. I've been in a project that was involved because when you prefer a solution. By the way, I'm a Salesforce consultant, so we're trying to bring in change, but some of the internal end users, it's hard to convince people into changing what they're used to. So that's why I asked the question, because we tried even the coffee method, arranging the coffee method. We escalated it because you have to use the escalation method. That's why I answered the issue of planning and budgeting. Or when you're consulting, those are the key factors. So in this case, we use the escalation method, but we found out that who we are trying to escalate to have affiliates, or they are close to whom we are trying to bring up. So how do you deal with such situation? Because it was a blocker for us.
That's a serious one. But like I said, if that's such thing is happening, the project lead, whosoever that is leading that project, maybe the project manager or depends, could actually, I can say, maybe they go to the project sponsor, and probably you can invite the project sponsor can call for a meeting whereby all these stakeholders will be there, and this can now, you can come up with this and let people discuss and see. Maybe they will have a kind of change of mind. But I know that in that organization, there must be somebody that is high power and also we have high interest in the projects. That's the project lead, either the project manager could use that person. When talking about stakeholder analysis, those people that's a quadrant, high influence and high interest. So you can use that type of person. Like, this is what we're experiencing. This is what, and this is giving us a lot of issue, and it will affect our delivery dates and also even the quality of the solution. We would like you to really help us. So
in such situation, what we did actually, after escalation, we looked for the evangelists, the project evangelists, because some people were agents of change.
Yeah.
So we work closely with them, but where we have a lot of issue was kind of when the change management, when it comes to training of the end users. We now found out it was kind of a politics. So that kind of, the project went well. Right now they are writing us, oh, we are enjoying it, but at that situation it was kind of lockhead, which I discussed with my colleague. The only thing we did, let's move with the evangelists, deliver the project. If they call us from time to time, we will not build them, because at the end of the day, I'm just kind of making a suggestion, should in case any person find themselves in such situations. Look for the evangelists, work with the evangelists, especially the evangelists that are among the top stakeholders, because in your stakeholders you have the ones, especially when it comes to financing and decision making. Those, if you see an evangelist among those two tiers of group, just work with them closely, because at the end of the day, they have to make the decision. They have to finance the project. So in such situation, we work with the evangelists, when we work with the evangelists, they helped us to move the project. We delivered the project, but during the training was kind of problem. It took us a long time, which the company have to pay, and this brings the reason why to answer the question of who asked how long a project will last. When it's waterfall, it goes to the one you're saying you started this project in 2021. It has been segmented from this time to this time. This is going to happen from this year to this year. This is going to happen from this time to this time. But in an agile environment, you're open to change at any time. The only thing is like you document. That's where you have to go through your Confluence or Jira and put it in scenes that when you go back during your documentation, you triage which ones are more important. Those are during your elicitation when you're working in an agile environment. So agile environment, I know most projects 6 months depending, but it's part of what you decide during your consultation, because your time, yes, we Africans, we try to like give it all, but mind you, your time you're giving is your money. Because if you give it all and at times you find yourself, oh, because you thought as your project manager you can do the work of BA, you don't do that such in a project. All those have been calculated as part of the finance. That's why the time matters with who consulting or the architect that designed the project. He has already put all those things in place. So if he exceeds the time, the owner will pay for it. Thank you.
Sorry, I am muted. Thank you, Ken Francis. Thank you for that contribution. Also bringing Agila.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I just want to say something about what the last speaker said about the concern he had on the project he's doing. I think this boils down to having an effective stakeholder analysis before you get into the main part of your project. So when you are able to analyze them, you want to know what power and influence they have along the line. So if you have that at the back of your mind, it is going to assist you when you get to issues like this. I know almost in every project, there will always be some group of people or some stakeholders that would make things kind of difficult for you. But most times, just like I think I heard you say it earlier, some of them you need to kind of create a rapport with them, get to know what their concern is about that project. Some of them, some very, very small thing that you as a business analyst, you are overlooking. I was talking to a fellow business analyst just last week. We were coming up with some names of our stakeholders, and I told him he was writing the names of our identified stakeholders, and he wrote the name of the director before writing the name of the regional director, and we'll be submitting this document to them. Some of them get very, very sensitive that things like this, they take it so personal. So if they see this kind of thing, they're going to react to it. So what I'm trying to say in essence is, going forward, if anybody's having that problem, this is what my approach has always been. Even though I've seen him create, he has shown that sign that he's not going to be part of this project. I want to approach that person and know what his real concern is. Sometimes you might just need to boost their ego, and before you know it, you'll be able to work with them. Just give them sometimes. Just give them that sense of belonging on the project. Let them know what the project is all about. Let them know how this thing is going to impact them positively, and that has worked for me in a couple of projects that I've embarked on. And this is my submission. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Agila. Thanks for that contribution. And I'm telling you, some of you may need to really pick from these, because at times you will come across this question in an interview. How do you manage a difficult stakeholder? So it's very, very key that you know how to manage a difficult stakeholder. You have them, you must be able to analyze them, understand their influence, level of their influence, and also the level of their interest in that project. And you had Ken Francis talking about evangelists. It's not the evangelists that preach the gospel outside there. These are people that they are the change agents. They are leading that initiative in the organization. They have interest in it. So you have some of them like that, and depends on different complaint. You give them different names. Some may call them the project lead, the change agents, whatever name. But you need to identify these people that have interest in what you are doing. And one good thing again to pick from what Gila said, you must let every stakeholder feel very important. Let them feel important, how their input will help us, how their input is going to make us to succeed in this. Frankly speaking, I can tell you, I think it's only one person. One time I've ever experienced a difficult stakeholder, and not even happened to be at that level. It's actually at end user level. That's not even a top hierarchy in the organization, but yet it's just to create a rapport and become friend with that person. I was able to. I need to do job shadowing, and when the person you need to job shadow is not cooperative, what will you do? So it's works. It's different things like that. You may come up, but you need to work with it. Okay, I can't see anybody coming in, and nobody asking question again. Okay, I want to use this avenue to appreciate everyone for joining. And also somebody said I would like to join an organization where I can have a hands-on training. Well, organization like how are you looking for internship, or are you talking about training whereby they can give you that kind of opportunity? It all depends on what you want. Internship is not that too open, but you might be lucky to get one. But if it is training, we have people that do training, but I always advise you, shine your eye, ready to learn. Don't be moved and deceived by the so-called 6 figures. If you don't know anything, nobody will pay you 6 figures. You must know and add value. Ready to learn, ready to work, then you get 6 figures. 6 figures is possible. People are getting it. People are getting offer that even they are afraid. It's happened to me, and it's still happening to a lot of people, but they are working as well. So ready to learn. And I can tell you, no matter where you train, you must put in your own hard work. No matter who train you, you must put in your hard work. That is very, very important. Nobody will give you everything. Even if you pay school, go to school, pay them 18,000. They will do their own best, and it's left for you. But one good thing with most of these trainings, like we conduct, is some of you have access for mentorship, for resume review, interview prep, and even on the job support. On the job support, we do give on the job support as well. But please, let's keep focus. By God's will, within the week, I'll be coming up and dropping a kind of scenario on the WhatsApp group. So please, I like our contribution, and we will be working on that next week, so that we want to kind of explore how it's been done. So once again, I want to appreciate everybody from my crew. I appreciate you, the admin, Kenyimika, Olayimka. I appreciate every one of you for your support. And Ken Francis and Agila, thank you very much for your contribution. And everyone, thank you. And Femi or Jelabi, right, the winner of the Kahoots, reach out to one of the admin on LinkedIn, on WhatsApp. Reach out to them, then we will get back to you and give you that your gift. Everyone, again, thank you. Please subscribe, like, and please follow us on our LinkedIn page, Success Career Hub. Follow us there. And you can also connect with me. Olugbenga Shobande is my name. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm more active on LinkedIn than any other social media. So you can connect with me and reach out how we can help and continue to support ourselves. Thank you, everybody, for coming. God bless you. I really, really appreciate your presence and your attendance here. Enjoy the rest of the day. Those of you that is night in Nigeria, have a wonderful night. And we'll connect again next week, and we'll continue to communicate on the WhatsApp group. Thank you. God bless you.